Just imagine you're driving, hot and sweaty, on a narrow sand road. You should have reached the crossing to the paved road ages ago, you think. Way past midnight, and you're a stranger in the area. Your car lights illuminate patches of an alien landscape, unfamiliar, black as night. Your phone is dead, so no GPS, and yes, you do have a map beside you, but what good will that do when you don't see any signs? No houses, so no knocking on front doors. And getting out of the car is not an option anyway, with all those stray dogs who love your calves. For a midnight snack. Where are you? And does anybody even know you're here? Should you stop the car to save gasoline? Should you wait till dawn? Who of you do not have a navigation system in their car? Yeah, I bet. They hardly make cars without them anymore. And can't we blame them? It really is a handy item. Don't we love to know where we are? To know and to be certain, to travel without worries. Even when I know the route, I still put on my GPS, someone told me the other day. And that's cool. Because it's cool to be confident, to know where you are right now, and isn't the world expecting that from us too? Besides, let's face it, getting lost is really inefficient. Yet today, I want to pay a tribute to the art of getting lost. I want to share my thoughts on why I think losing oneself is a very creative and an essential skill to master in order for our light to shine at its full capacity. I believe losing yourself is a brave thing to do. But it allows you to recognize your own path to clarity. You know, nowadays, we haven't come accustomed to it anymore. We are used to clarity. And when you're passing there, we think we are certain. We have ostensible certainties, and our opinions are reshaped to facts. Compare it to a midsummer. The light is beautiful, yes, but it bleaches out our colors too. It causes the end of the road to flicker like a mirage. It creates fata morganas. In the dark, we need to stand still. In the dark, we need to start wondering. What you see behind me are my own blue hour drawings. I make them as a state of mind where thick certainties are disposed and yet to be, been taken over by new ones. We find the dark difficult. I made them in Portugal a few years ago in a very remote area, and it was there I literally got lost on a narrow dirt road. While I was sitting in my car with my sweaty hand palms on the wheel, all of a sudden I realized where I had ended up. I had driven myself in the exact middle of my own drawings. And it made me chuckle. Had I forgotten the value of the unknown? Had I forgotten my own darkness? On the contrary, I remember all too well how lost I had felt a couple of years earlier. I can still taste the dry panic in my mouth. Out there, I felt I was surrounded with people who were doing things that mattered, giving meaning, doing useful stuff. And me, I was in my studio, hiding in a way, safely. Well, what? I was trying to create my art. But who cares about art when there are 3-year-old boys who drown on their way to safety on a European beach? For crying out loud, what difference can art make? Could I make? I kept saying to myself. And then people would say, oh, but Anook, you do fine, you follow your heart. That would numb me even more. I follow my heart. But I tried so hard to cling to my heart, but my head kept saying all kinds of conflicting things. It's a bumpy road, following your heart. Since what do you do when there's only one thing you think you're able to do, and it seems that no one gives a bag of beans? What do you do when the only thing you always thrived on and felt compelled to do starts to feel absolutely insignificant? The good thing about a crisis, though, that you always find somebody else wandering in the same darkness. A couple of years ago, in my case, it was bankers, big financial corporations who were losing ground too, who were lost for purpose. I'm not sure if they found it already, but that's another TED Talk. But I did the only thing I thought I could do, observe and question with my crayons. So I went to the apical center of the financial Wall Street, the Zuidas, and I started chalking on the ground, on the pavement, right in front of their doorstep. And I was sitting there, and then they would ask me, hey, what are you doing? Well, not always that nice, but... And then I would stand up and say, this, you and me talk. And we did talk about fear and about why we do what we do. And the ironical thing was that none of them recognized their own certainties. None of them recognized the disclaimers who they themselves had written. It was uncomfortable, yes. It was very awkward a lot of times. But there, at that very unlikely place, my talks with the bankers and lawyers and my not knowing performances taught me this. Sharing that you're lost, sharing that you do not know, is actually a very powerful thing to do. It opens up space. Actually, thinking that you know things for certain is a very limited thought. Placing question marks, on the other hand, then you open up space. And don't get me wrong, it's not the indifferent not knowing, like the whatever, I don't know. It's a genuine question mark. I don't know. When you do that, when you ask that, that is when you start a dialogue. That is when you gently step towards a new light. My works are about this. They are derived from it, and they celebrate it. It's okay not to know. If we want to question, or if we want to give meaning to the world and our place within it, we have to question it. And how much I regret it, art cannot save kids from drowning. Art cannot take away our darkness, but art can work as a neutral safe haven where we can meet and discuss and exchange our perceptions. I think art can be a travel companion to exchange perspectives. Art can teach us new perspectives. When we are there in the dark, we have to question ourselves. What type of life do we want to live? Do we want to live our life safely, neatly drawn between the lines? Or do we picture ourselves in 1,000 lives? I wish you a life full of colors, including the dark ones. I wish you the courage to embrace it and see it for all its richness. But most of all, I wish you art as a travel companion while you master yourself in the art of getting lost. Thank you.